Welcome back to the Nerdrotic Podcast. My name is Gary Buechler. I am live in rainy San Francisco, California, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and down in San Diego is my good friend Dennis Bithoulkas. What is up, Dennis?
Well, since we're doing weather reports, it's nice and sunny here for now. It's going to rain later on tomorrow.
It's rained up here for like 3 weeks straight. It's been kind of nuts. So, yeah, and then in other news, there was a cop got shot on Mission in Geneva, which is 2 blocks away from my house, and the cops have been on high alert tonight. We'll just say lots of sirens and chaos and helicopters and craziness. So yeah, but let's talk about the X-Files. Forget all that stuff. So we reached the end of season 11 of the X-Files. With the episode My Struggle 4. And I'm wondering if they're talking to the viewer or no, just kidding. Okay.
I think it is. It was the viewers. Yeah.
I am struggling with that ending a little bit. Now, I was entertained by the episode. It just seemed like, I don't know, we've gotten hints that this might be it, but this is definitely not it. This is like they're going to bring, there's going to be another X-Files season.
The way they ended this, obviously they're setting up another. I mean, yeah, we're gonna get to that ending in a minute, but yeah, as Ghost World says, my struggle to care.
Right?
Yeah, that's pretty much how I felt. I mean, when William started monologuing in the beginning there, right before the credits rolled, I was like, oh shit, really? Come on.
Well, it's kind of like you said all season. It's like they had to, like, William should have been popping up way more than he did. We need to get more familiar with him because he just looks like a little prat. I mean, he's he's a teenage kid, right? But I don't know how likable he is. And yeah, I didn't like him very much. So
I didn't either. No.
Now, like, some of the stuff they pulled this episode was pretty crazy and entertaining, like Mulder's body count.
Action figure Mulder. Yeah.
Action figure Mulder with slaying grip. Damn. That was, what'd you say? Double digits?
It's in the double digits easily because what was it? Just in the hangar alone, that was 8 guys there. So then he also killed Fat Dude. He killed the other military dude up there. Plus he killed a couple other people along the way. So yeah, he's in the double digits at this point.
And William, we'll get to that. So, I mean, we're going to run through the episode real quick. I mean, there was just a lot of running and chasing, to be honest with you. There wasn't a lot of, for what would be a quote unquote mythos episode. There wasn't a lot of mythos at all.
And I'm just gonna say the pretentious in the opening credits. You know how they always have at the end of the credits there. They do something different, like instead
of I want to believe,
they had Salvador Mundi, which is Latin for savior of the world.
So William is our savior. Okay,
that's what it's supposed to be. Yeah,
we're screwed.
Yeah, exactly. So some kid who thinks it's fun to sleep with multiple girls, and then in the spare time. Well, that's fun. Yes.
Yeah. I can't judge a kid for everything. All right.
But then pit them against each other by making them both think that they were some kind of movie monster, and then stab each other almost to death
for kicks.
Yeah.
So basically he is Millennium Jesus, or a millennial Jesus. Jesus. Yeah, he's Millennial Jesus. I actually could believe that.
This almost kind of now I'm thinking about it, Punk Rock Jesus, Sean Murphy almost has kind of a similar beat, but Punk Rock Jesus is a lot better. Highly recommend that.
That comic, by the way. That is some good stuff. He's doing a good job on Batman White Knight as well.
Mm-hmm.
Very entertaining. So, I mean, again, we'll run over the episode very quickly here. I want to talk more about just like where the X-Files is going, and like what did this have to do with the ending of season 10? See, the ending of season 10 had a contagion that was killing everybody, and a UFO shows up over Scully and Mulder is dying. And what happened to that? So that was all in her head?
That got turned around because remember now they showed actually a couple differences. Like Skinner actually ended up going with her instead of leaving her by herself. So yeah, so that was one of the differences. So he switched sides. Also, Reyes was trying to help them out at this point. So there's a couple differences that had happened in whatever future that William had seen. So basically, to boil this down, it was basically a one long chase scene.
Yep.
Is what it was. They were trying to find William, and Fox was just behind him each step of the way. And they finally catch up to him. He goes back to Norfolk. He's trying to get one of his ex-girlfriends. He's trying to get either one of the ex-girlfriends to come with him because he's got lotto money that he's scammed. He's basically done a lot of multiple lotto winnings and taken the money and run. And Fox ends up almost catching up. Well, he does catch up to him in the motel, and he blows up Barbara Hershey's character there and her goons along with everybody else. So Barbara Hershey was Erica Price, by the way, on that. And we end up having the finale of them being in the warehouse, the sugar factory, if you will. Smoky Man's there, Erica Price is there, or excuse me, Reyes is there, and Skinner is there. And Skinner takes out Reyes. Smoky Man takes out Skinner, supposedly. We think he might still be alive because we saw his leg twitching a little bit. And then William is running away from Scully after telling her, stop looking for me kind of thing, as he's posing as Mulder.
Yep.
And he runs into the Smoking Man who has taken Skinner's gun, and he still looks like Mulder. And Smoking Man shoots him in the head, and he goes flying off the dock.
And we've been seeing this all episode. They actually started the episode with the Smoking Man shooting Mulder. You don't see him. You don't see the bullet go in the Mulder's head.
You see it go to black
at the end, but you see it go to black. And Scully is getting these visions, which are essentially the end of the episode over and over again. And like you might have thought, this is pretty much our quickest recap ever. That's all that happened. It was just running around. We had some guy following Mulder. He put a tracker in, and then
he ends up exploding.
He ends up exploding too. The William hitchhikes with a trucker before that. Was some guy who I've seen in a million things before. He's
also been in X-Files.
Yeah, he's been in X-Files before. And he freaks him out by turning into like Shark Man. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty funny, actually. So it's just running after William doing horrible things, him going back to the girls. The younger sister of one of the girls kind of gives it up to Mulder. They end up in the sugar factory. You see William turn into Mulder, so we know that it's going to be him end up getting shot, and of course it was, no surprise. Smoking Man was just so these two factions they set up at the beginning of the season meant nothing. Like Mulder killed all the men, pretty much killed the entire faction, and William took out the rest. So there was just Smoking Man. He didn't have a faction behind him at all. He just had Reyes. And they did this whole thing of bringing him back, and he was nothing. I mean, just nothing. And then we find out, of course, that Smoking Man is William's dad, and Scully just carried William.
He was an experiment.
Which was just really effed up if you think about it. And Scully, for the entire episode, has been trying to tell Mulder something that he's not listening. For one, she's getting William's visions, and she's trying to warn him, like, if you do this, you're going to die. And he's like, no, I'm so close. And she could have stopped this at any moment going, there's something I got to tell you, Fox. You're not the dad. That might have lessened the pursuit a little bit. I'm just saying, and she might, everything she told him at the end, was she finally tells Mulder at the end that he's an experiment, something she could have told him before the episode started. Okay. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And then that bombshell that she drops.
Yeah, at the end. So they did this to us in season 10. They did the spaceship flying over and the freaking Mulder dying and all these people having contagious. Looks like the world's ending. I'm like, God damn, this is actually kind of cool. This has got some stakes. With no announcement of an X-Files season 11. And I thought that's how X-Files was going to end. And in a way, I was kind of okay with it. That would have been a cool way to end it. That's ballsy. Leave it to your imagination. But 2 years later, they bring out season 11, and this was all in Scully's head during a coma or something, and
an aneurysm,
and here we are. We're at the end, and Scully drops really an impossible. For one, how old is Scully?
Older than me, so she's in her 50s.
She's looking good.
Yeah,
she's looking good. She's in her 50s. She's pregnant.
Yeah, she says she's pregnant with Mulder's kid. And as I wrote down in my notes here, Scully tells Mulder, I was actually telling Gary this at our pre-production meeting. Scully tells Mulder that she's preggers with his kid, and they both say it's impossible, like this fucking ending.
Okay, so yeah, okay, this is a tough night for us because because podcasting is so hard. We have to do a double header, so we gotta, I hate to rush through, so like I'd rather talk to the chat and we just get through the recap. And honestly, if it was a complicated episode, I'd go longer, but that's pretty much what happened, everybody. And this is how we're not guaranteed an X-Files season 12. This is how it could end. I don't think it will. And I like the pregnancy thing. I like the fact that they're having a kid, even though it's possible. Okay. It's not impossible. Older women have had kids before. It's very dangerous to the mother, and to the kid. But, but the funny thing was, like, William got shot in the head. So at that point, Mulder just thinks he lost his son. He blew away the smoking man, who of course is going to survive. It was all body shots, and he's the smoking man. He's probably barely human at this point.
Ghost World even says, he goes, and Gary forgot the biggest unexplained plot. How the bloody hell the cigarette smoking man survived? Oh, what was that? A javelin missile right to the face?
I know. Right? Yeah, that's I've completely forgot about that. That's what you're talking about at the end of season 9, right? When he was Janet Jackson. Good point, DJ Bowman. Janet Jackson. Millions of dollars and the best doctors in the world, and you can have a baby in the 50s, no problem. And women have done it.
Actually, it's 48. Debbie Young had corrected us and said she's 48.
It is not impossible.
No,
it is not impossible, and that's fine. But the reaction of it was, so William just died. He killed the smoking man. It's like, I'm gonna be a dad. Oh, that's cool. And they're like, forget the fact that there's a teenager with his head blown off in the water, who of course comes back up. But the biggest thing was, what happened to Monica Reyes? Did she die in the car?
She got shot in the head. We saw her head go back, and we saw the blood.
So Skinner shot Monica Reyes?
Yeah, he shot her in the head.
Whoa, I didn't see that. That's pretty hardcore. Yeah. And then Skinner died. Okay, so when Smoking Man is coming at Skinner, there's another car behind him, and he dives under another car, and so he could have escaped that. You said you thought his leg twitch, but that could be from death. They made it non-definitive so they can bring him back later. Ooh, make Skinner the bad guy. That'd be interesting. But I like Skinner. He's always been one of my favorites. Debbie Young says
Skinner has to hunt them down now to shut down the X-Files. And
you bring back Robert Patrick, and it could be Robert Patrick and Skinner versus Scully. And Robert Patrick's still looking good. He could pull that off. But poor Monica Reyes, like, she didn't even that wasn't even her fault at the end. So, guilt by association, I guess. So Smoking Man's just bad news. And does anybody think he's really dead? And, William's obviously not dead, but now we have this superhero. And I was thinking, that'd be kind of cool if the X-Files was just a superhero origin for another character. Kind of like another show we're going to cover right after this, Krypton. But they did mention the X-Men in this episode, which was kind of cool. I like that. They need to, another thing I pointed out, not to be a negative Nelly on this, but I was noticed because there was a lot of running and chasing.
Yeah.
And I've noticed lately they're getting actors who can't run. Okay. So three things I've noticed people who can't run. First one is the most blatant one was in Justice League, and Ezra Miller, is that his name?
Yeah.
That kid cannot run.
No, he can't.
He had the duck waddle run. Did anybody catch that? Okay. And then, sorry to pick on a lady here, but Kristen Ritter and Jessica Jones can't run. She can't run. And William, the kid William, could not run. You see his like that would look so weird. It's like, guys,
Ghost World says
run before.
Ghost World says they need Tom Cruise because he
Right?
runs in every single movie that he's in.
He's got the funniest run, like a spazzy,
Yeah.
But it's good. It's a good run. Yeah, that was they did it again.
Yeah.
I even ran into my wife's to our room, and she was like laying down. I'm like, they fucking did it again. I cannot believe it. So yeah, I feel like Charlie Brown right now, being an X-Files fan. So do we have to wait 2 years?
I think 3 this time around.
Oh my God, that's not long enough. So I guess the question I put out there is, okay, this is not the ending we want. How would you end the X-Files? And do you think the X-Files should end, or at least the Mulder and Scully story should end? I'd like to give them a good ending. It could be a death. I mean, a good ending, whatever way. I don't think we need like another weird season like this. I'd like to see, maybe like remember the old miniseries like Winds of War and North and the South? Dennis?
Yeah, I remember those.
Where we would get like 3 or 4 2-hour episodes, and do something like that and make it all mythos, like just make it all aliens or whatever. And you can slip in some supernatural, just go balls out, but like give them a cohesive story over multiple episodes and end it. And I'd be cool with that.
And have someone else do it other than Chris Carter.
Get that writer who did Familiar.
Yeah. The one who did Familiar. Yeah. And the director too.
Yeah. That was a great episode.
Yeah. That was the best episode of the season. DJ Bowman says, emotional roller coaster ride. Are you bipolar? If you're not, you just might be after this episode of the X-Files.
Right. Swear to God, there's like, this is stupid. That was rad. This is lame. That was awesome.
Where the hell did that come from?
I know.
That was cool.
Barbara Hershey. What the fuck? Poor Barbara Hershey.
Why is he trying to get that girl to come with him? Why did he go back? Oh, wait. Okay.
Still not worse than what happened to Barbara Hershey in The Entity. Anybody ever see The Entity out there? That is some messed up stuff. That's you know what? That's a movie that I don't think they would make today.
No, they would not.
Yeah. Yeah. Look it up, kids. I'm not going to describe it.
Yeah. So Debbie Young says, I got what I wanted as a fan of the MSR. MSR?
Mulder Scully relationship.
Okay, I guess so.
Yeah.
And DJ Bowman also says, I don't know if it was William when he was talking to Scully until Mulder appeared from the other side of the building, but I knew it wasn't Mulder when CSM appeared and held a gun on him.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't either, but I thought it would have been another ballsy move. Debbie Young says yes. The Mulder Scully. Debbie, I will agree with you. This season was much better as far as their chemistry, their bonding. I really, I liked most of this season. Let me be clear on that. I really did, and I thought their little playful banter and stuff, and their familiarity and relationship. I thought that was done really well. I thought that was done very well. What is it? DJ Bowman says Hershey go boom. Yeah, she went boom. I like, where do we go? Where do we go from here? Mulder's like disillusioned, so that they have a good setting to do something fun. But yeah, somebody else definitely has to write it. I agree with you, Dennis, right there.
Yeah. And what was it we had here? DJ Bowman says, do you think Scully ever sung to William as a baby? Maybe the song Pop Goes the Weasel?
Maybe like, I love how they glossed over like the parents that raised him. He got them killed. He's like, and he felt like kind of bad about it. It's like, I'd be a little horrified, but
yeah, and they knew obviously about his powers because they were moving him around every time the kids would find out. He even, when he monologues at the beginning there, he even mentions it.
Yeah. And why do we start the monologue with him now? I mean, I would have started the monologue with him at the beginning of the season and had like little bits of it throughout. That was just, there was there's a lot of weirdness.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it was written in a I don't know how much writing Chris Carter has done between X-Files and the last time he was on X-Files. I don't know how many shows he's done. I don't know what he's worked on, but it seems like it was very 90s in the writing, and we have like moved way past that. So we are used to serialized television where like we got one story for a season. And I think the X-Files is like tailor-made for that. And they maybe it's a network decision. Maybe they don't want it that way. But
it was very disjointed,
it was,
very haphazard.
and I was just looking at the ratings, and they were all over the place this season. Like, for some reason, Familiar got a great ratings, and maybe it was just the trailer and that Mr. Chuckle Teeth, but it was way up and down, up and down. So, and the interest has gone kind of. It's weird. It's been a weird season, but it wasn't as bad as the last one. So I don't know. I mean, I love the X-Files. I do. They always have a place in my heart, the X-Files. So I'll always come back. But man, that was a weird ending.
Oh yeah. Ghost World says, I honestly feel like last week's episode, ending with Mulder and Scully having their heart to heart in the church and just spending time together like that was a better series season ender. Yeah,
Agreed.
It would have been.
Totally
It
agreed.
definitely would have been. Oh, and she could have just whispered over in his ear, by the way, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
And everyone could have gone, you know?
So what did she tell him?
I don't know. That's a good thing. Yeah, she could have whispered whatever that was, and she whispered in his ear.
Way better.
Yeah, that would have been it right there.
William's not your son.
Yeah.
I'd whispered a few things in his ear. The smoking man is his dad. Stuff like that.
Yeah. He's not my baby either.
Yeah. I was just a surrogate for an alien baby.
It's whispering. It's really annoying.
Yes. Oh man.
Ghost Road also says new head writer. They need to Moffat him the hell out of this, and too little William characterization and too late. They should have been building our relationship with him for way longer. Definitely agreed.
Yeah, because I didn't care about that kid at all when he got shot in the head. I'm like, that's probably for the best.
Yeah. And they were kind of like that too. Like, oh, William got shot in the head. Oh, but you're pregnant. Okay, we got another kid to replace him.
Oh my God, there's such a bad joke there that I will not go. I will not go there. No, don't do it.
A ZB Fruity says, aren't they a little old to have a baby?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we were.
Oh, there's another joke that I got. Stop. I got in trouble the last bad joke I did, so I don't want to do it. Just use your imagination. It's funny though.
I was having to take a big drink.
No, yeah, take a drink. I'm not gonna.
That's why William needs revenge, is what DJ Bowman says.
Yes, the revenge of William.
Jaws 5.
X-Files. I have to believe.
Oh my God.
Oh Jesus. So,
this season for me wasn't that great. I mean, Mr. Chuckleteeth, really high bar, man. That was awesome. And even last week's episode was good. If you would reverse the order and had and just taken that ending maybe of last week's episode and stuck it on there, just like Ghost War was saying, definitely I would love to have seen that. That would have been a lot better. And yes, Ghost World, Star Files, Episode 3, Revenge of the Will.
Well, yes. God. What can we say? It was such the X-Files used to be a show that was like full of information and people would be talking about it all week. And it didn't start it, nor will it end it, but it's the show that brought event television, like, and nerd television. We were talking about it in the comic shops even back then. It was something we just, like, what about the Smoking Man? It's like, and this season they kind of disrespected all that material, and in a way, in my opinion, the fans who followed that and cared about that. And a lot of the season was like, oh, that's silly stuff from the 90s and stuff, which is, no, you could have just modernized it and made it cool. And they did a few episodes. I don't know. It feels like they tried to undo season 10 too hard.
Yeah, it was like it's all just a dream.
Yeah.
Ooh. Apple Crow says here the new X Files poster should just say, I wanted to believe it would make sense."
Yeah, more so the, can you
Yeah.
believe this shit? No.
And Debbie Young says, but if you think back over the years, they were always telling us that William wasn't quite right. Yeah, they said it in one or two lines, but again, it's like we always say here, show, don't tell. That's one of John Millis, who is a great director, and he's also a film school teacher at USC. USC's famous film school. He taught Spielberg, he taught George Lucas. His famous line is "show, don't tell," and that's what this whole season was kind of guilty of. Is they wasted all of that. They squandered the episodes where they could have been building on the Williams story, and instead they only gave us what, 3 episodes of that.
Yeah. And it really just put him in like 2 more episodes. That's and just for a few minutes.
Yeah.
That would have helped a lot. And she's right. I mean, they talked about this in the original run, about, that's why they had to get rid of him. But let's just say, like, think of yourself back then, and now this is your William payoff. Are you really happy with it?
Yeah. And she even says the perfect, Debbie Young says the perfect ending episode was season 8. That was where it should have ended.
Yes.
Season 9 was all about that.
Yeah. Yes.
And speaking of all about that, we're coming towards the end of time.
Yes, we have a hard time limit on this one. I am so sorry, but it's a rare double header night for us, and we have day jobs.
And we're old, and we have day jobs.
Old, yes, and we have to cover Krypton, which spoilers, I liked.
I liked it too.
I thought it was very good. Thought it was very, very good. So I'm a little surprised. But hey, X-Files, I love you. I unconditionally love you. I will watch you when you come back. I love me some, what is it? MSR. I love me some MSR. I am so bought into that. And I hope Gillian Anderson doesn't come back. We might have to see other people, but I might have to see other shows. But I hope she does. And I hope it's a negotiation technique. And you know what? Pay her more than David Duchovny. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Because honestly, she's always been my favorite character. I like Fox, but Scully's always been my favorite character. So there you go.
Apple Crow says, this would be the last one that we say. Apple Crow says, what if we went back to that idea you had of Mulder in the insane asylum and we pull back and Mulder's psychiatrist is Pusher?
Pusher? Wait. I got to read that again. Sorry. What if we went back to an idea and had Mulder in the insane asylum and pulled back a Mulder psychiatrist is Pusher? I don't get it. You're way ahead of me, Apple Crow.
Yeah.
It might be something I'm missing from the original. See, he's probably referring to something I'm completely forgetting. It sounds cool, though. Honestly, I think Scully is more important to the X-Files than Mulder. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agree, Apple Crow. I totally agree. I mean, if we want to say one's more important to the other, I always thought Mulder would die. I always thought he would die.
The show survived without Duchovny.
Yep. Oh, the episode Pusher. Thank you. Oh. Thank you, Debbie Young. Okay. What if we went back? Does Scully believe yet? Says, how's your father? My son keeps on asking that all the time. Pusher was the guy who called himself a Ronin who can make people do things they do. Oh, yes. Okay. Cling. You see the light went on. That would be cool. Thanks for reminding, Apple Crow. Again, old, tired.
On that note,
yeah, it's my son keeps on going, why doesn't Scully believe yet? And I'm all, it's in the script, son. It's part of the part of the shtick.
It's part of
we don't want her to believe, okay, fully. So there you go. If you guys want to hang around, we'll be back in about 15 minutes with a review of Krypton's premiere episode, which was on Sci-Fi tonight. Highly recommend you watch the pilot. It's very good. X-Files, we will be back with you if you return, whenever you return. Thank you for having another season. As inconsistent and weird it was nice to have you back. It really was. It was nice to see Mulder and Scully, and that was the best part, was the relationship between Mulder and Scully. That was really well done. So
and
bravo.
if you guys want to talk more about this on Friday, feel free. We can actually talk about this more on Friday as well.
Yeah, come back. Friday night podcast is a free for all. It's at 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, and we can talk about it more. Definitely, it's up to you. It's whatever you guys want to talk about. So, DJ Bowman, hello, lovely to revisit them. Debbie Young, Apple Crow, how's your father? ZB Fruity, I love these names. Ghost World. Let's see if I'm missing anybody.
I think that was it. Tell him. Yes.
And I think that's it. Thank you very much for joining us in the chat. We always appreciate you. You guys make the show. You can find all of our videos and podcasts at nerdrotic.com. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do and hit the bell. We have a Patreon. It's in the link. All the links will be in the description when this rolls into a video. Dennis has a Twitter. It's at DeForce, DAFORCE. Mine is at nerdrotics. Dennis, take us out.
People of Earth, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, because you might get taken by aliens.
You better believe it. Oh, sorry, that was terrible. The small folks sing songs for your greatness, something like that. See you in 15 minutes. Bye bye.
Good night, everyone.